Okay, we'll let Coach start off with an opening statement and open it up for questions.
Okay, on to Cincinnati, a team we're very familiar with. Their head coach, I think it's the fourth time that we faced each other. Kind of really one of our rivals, with the conference and everything that goes with it. When you look at it, the top two offenses are going against each other in our league. Their quarterback really stands out, and he's a really good player, really good throwing the football. He can extend plays, very efficient. They're coming off week, second week in a row. We're playing a team with an off week, and they played really good against Houston. I think they won 34-0. Their defense is kind of an odd front defense. They do a good job with their gap fits, understanding what they need to do with their fits. So got our work cut out for us, but we're glad to be back home and glad to be back in conference questions.
Coach, there's a major hurricane in the Gulf headed towards Tampa. Right now the line has it, the track has it going over Orlando. Could still be hurricane strength late Wednesday, early Thursday. What do you know? I mean, I know you're not a meteorologist, but in terms of contingency plans for your team for practice and whether or not the game can even be played on Saturday.
We're trying to stay in our routine best we can. We'll adjust with it. We'll have a plan. Really, no matter what happens, we'll have a plan. So we've been talking through that, and I think the main thing is just making sure that plan-wise to make sure our players are taken care of and all the people in our program.
Gus, you had some time, obviously, to look at the film in Florida. What stood out to you? What can you make of the performance you guys had?
Yeah, well, defensively, the first half we gave up a few things that we shouldn't have. Defense settled in. I thought they played well in the second half. Offensively, it's just bottom line is we got to be effective to run the football. When they load the box, we got to make them pay. We didn't do that, and really that's what stands out to me. But we'll have a better plan and moving forward.
Coach mentioned running the football effectively going into Cincinnati, assuming it's played almost inevitably the weather's going to be sloppy. Does that give you guys an advantage running the football?
I don't know. They run the football too, so I really don't. Usually, anytime weather, it's usually wind is what really affects people more than anything. So we'll see where that's at.
Why do you think the challenges in the red zone persist?
Like I said the other day, I think it's all above. We got to do a better job, scheming people up. We got to do a better job getting in the red zone. When we've been really good in the red zone, we've been able to run the football in, and so we gotta do a good job. I will say this: we're able to kind of look back after 4 games and address some things, and I feel really confident we'll have a better plan, moving forward with what we have in the red zone, because that's going to be really a huge key to the success of our team moving forward.
Coach, the team ranks bottom in the league in sacks and near the bottom in passing yards per game. It's obvious the defense has been struggling. Are you considering any changes personnel-wise, game plan-wise?
We're needing to put more pressure on the quarterback. I mean, that's real evident. We do understand that. So we're looking at really all the above. We got to figure out ways to put pressure on the quarterback, whether it's schematically or whether certain people match ups on certain things. And that's part of coaching. And we got to do a better job, helping our guys. And we'll have a more specific plan this week, I feel like.
In a blitz-heavy scheme, how are you planning to attack on getting to the quarterback? Because you're pulling people out of coverage and you're putting people in the blitz and it's opening up the pass.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of catch-22. If you're going to blitz, you better get home. And so really that's been, my message. As far as if we're gonna blitz, we got to get home. We got to make sure, and then when we're playing back, we got to cover. So. It's really a lot of execution, all right, when you look at us, and so we got to do a better job in that area.
Last 3 games, you guys have fallen behind in the first quarter and the first half, especially. What do you have to do to get off to better starts?
Yeah, you're exactly right. We got to get off to a better start, and that's really everything that goes with it. And going behind 3 weeks in a row, that's no good. And so we got to solve that, and that's something we're addressing too. That's something we're looking at. What can we do differently than we've done before instead of the same old stuff?
What more do you need to see from KJ Jefferson? And has there been a thought of trying to get another quarterback in there for nothing more than just a change of pace?
Yeah, I mean, obviously last week I said after the game we need to play better around him. He's got to play better too. I mean, it was really all of the above. Got to coach better. It was all of it. So we understand that we didn't have 300 yards offense, and before that we were really rolling. So we got to be better really in all the areas.
Speaking of KJ, a lot of the quarterback designed runs that have been called just haven't been as effective as maybe you would have liked. How confident are you moving forward that that is something that can be executed?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of execution. It's part of the bigger picture scheme. I mean, when you have design either reads, some of them are reads now too. Some of them are design runs. So just execution-wise and maybe calling them in different situations too. Really, kind of like I said, it's kind of all the above when things don't work successfully like you would hope.
Guess you got the 2-game losing streak. How do you guys tune out the noise, the outside noise? When you go through a losing streak of this, you had to happen last year too as well. How do you tune all out?
Yeah, well, we got a veteran team. I said after the game we're going to bounce back. I'm very confident, and I'm more confident today than I was afterwards. I mean, you're feeling like crap at that point, but it's our leaders, 2 of them that you're going to hear from. Real confident that we'll be able to rebound. We're still learning some things about our team, about our players, and doing some things. We need to do a better job coaching schematically in some areas to help our guys out. So that's our plan moving forward. Think about our guys. I mean, they're playing their guts out, and they're going to continue to do that. And I really feel like we're going to finish strong. I'm glad we're back in the conference now. That's behind us, and last 2 games we can't control that. That's over. But our group is a real close group. They understand in those walls, the team room, that's all that really matters. Doesn't matter about Twitter, doesn't matter about this opinion or that opinion. Bottom line is we need to play better football on the field. And so we understand that, and we're very committed to doing that, and we will.
So along those lines, you talked about the Big 12. You got an opportunity now to still make some noise in the Big 12. You got a lot of the games left. What can you do to maybe kind of focus on that and try to?
Well, that's exactly what our leaders and our team's been focused on. They're back in the Big 12. We're 1-1 right now. That's the reality. Got a lot of season ahead. We're starting to get a little bit of youth. Some of them younger guys, especially special teams, are coming on. They played extremely well, and so we're still kind of evolving as a team. But there's a lot of good things that are happening. We just got to transfer that over on Saturdays.
Kenny played a lot of the game with center. Was that performance?
Yeah. No, Kittler was banged up. He got banged up the game before. He practiced, but we knew he wasn't 100%. He tried his best, and they had some big guys over the top of him, and so Kenny got a chance. And I mean, it was really his first rodeo in prime time. We had a couple. Whether it was noise or snap counts, we had a couple of issues that were pretty ugly, in the second half. But it was good for him to get that experience, as far as moving forward.
Coach, you said the best teams improve as the season goes on. Do you feel like the Cincinnati game, or I should say, what opportunity does the Cincinnati game provide your team to get better?
Well, I mean, we have to improve. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and we will. Like I said, this is kind of turned into a rivalry game for our program, and we've had some good matches. We had one that went down the wire last year at their place. We got new players, they've got new players, so it ought to be a good one.
What's your message to the portion of the fan and donor base that's losing confidence in your ability to make the effective changes you keep?
Well, we got to win. I mean, that's just part of it. We hadn't played very good football the last 2 weeks. We got to win. I expect us to do that, and I think we'll finish strong, and all of our goals are still intact.
It seems like the offense has been struggling major in these past few games. And part of that has been R.J. Harvey being stuffed on teams loading the box and not being able to get him out in open field. Are you confident in this team's ability to move the ball if the ball is being stuffed on the run game and KJ Jefferson's?
Yeah, and that was part of what we talked about last game. We got to do a better job of making them pay when they put an extra guy in. We didn't do a very good job of that overall. We're still, I don't know, top 10, top 11 offense in the country. There's a lot of good things going on, but this part of the season, you've got to take what the defense gives you. And so we'll have to do a better job than we did last week. I expect us to do that.
This is kind of the reality of college football, the transfer portal and bringing players in. But Are you still kind of learning KJ a little bit? Is it not like that he's a freshman, he's obviously a veteran player, but is there still kind of a feeling out process of what he's good at, how he fits into this offense?
Yeah, I think early on there definitely was, like I said, that's normal, especially for quarterbacks. You look around the country, quarterbacks are going into new offenses and all that. So there's always a learning curve. There's a feeling out curve, but we're fixing to go. Almost middle of the season. So we know all that we need to know right now.
What is the current plan as far as practicing and housing the athletes in the light of the storm?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on practicing in the morning, planning on practicing Wednesday morning. Obviously, after that, it's kind of up in there, and we'll be able to adjust and, whatever we need to do with that.
Coach, you rotated a lot of the receivers, Javarius, Jared, on Saturday. Do you think that will continue moving forward until you find a clear-cut guy, or do you think you'll just keep rotating those guys?
No, I think, Tim just had a plan. We play pretty much 6 guys, and that was his plan, and keep everybody fresh and everything that goes with that.
How much of a disruption is it after a 4th game, you're getting ready for the next game, you have to deal with all this, off the field stuff about guys deciding whether they want to opt out or not? I'm sure that took away from stuff you could have otherwise been doing. Would you like to see some rule change, or I know some other coaches have been outspoken about maybe giving players a blanket 5 years and no redshirt? Have you thought about it? Because that seemed like a disruption you didn't want last year.
Well, I think you just said the 5 year. I think moving forward, I think all coaches would agree something like that, so things don't happen in the middle of the season. I think that's good for everybody. But like I said, we're in such a unique time, a new age of college football. You just got to adapt. And but the 5-year plan, I think, would be good for everybody.
And Colton Boomer last night, I guess he indicated it didn't seem like he'd be coming back, and he said he was injured after the game. Just what are your thoughts on him leaving the program?
That's his decision yesterday, and so Grant did a super job, and I think Grant's set up to have a really good career here.
Gus, do you feel like this is based on how the last two weeks have gone, do you feel like this is a must-win game for you guys?
I mean, I think we're to a point where we're playing in our league, and our goal is to win the league. And if you have a chance to win the league, we need to win this week. I mean, I think everybody understands that.
Okay, how do you plan on countering Cincy's wide receiver core with 4 guys averaging over 10 receiving yards per catch and over a touchdown as well?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big matchup, and that's going to be the big challenge. Getting pressure on the quarterback so we don't have to cover him as long, that definitely helps. But their quarterback is really efficient, or real impressed with him. And you just said the receivers, I mean, they're getting it done.
Also, Cincy's defense actually doesn't have anybody getting over 20 tackles in the season to our 3. Is that something you plan on exploiting?
That tells you they got a pretty complete defense if it's not just one or 2 guys. Like I said, what stands out to me when I turn on the film, you can tell they're extremely well coached. You can tell they understand exactly what the responsibility is. If you hurt them on something, they can make an adjustment the next play. So you can tell they're really well coached.
How do you address getting a play called in faster and just the pace of play?
You just got to do it. You got to call the play, and you got to get it done. And so I think that's a kind of a common sense question there.
What do you think's bogging that down, though?
Well, last game there was some issues as far as how the game was going, how we were protecting. Trying to hit a couple possible big play runs late, and we weren't able to do that.
I know you talked about KJ and players around him playing better units. How would you assess the offensive line over these last 2 weeks?
Well, first of all, we played against 2 pretty good defensive lines. Last week, I think they were the most talented that we faced. When we got in true passing situations, obviously we struggled. We got to do a better job in that, and then we got to do a better job of helping our guys too. And playing ahead of the chains, not behind the chains, and that's coaching responsibility too. So I think it's all above with that too.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.